and engage. Ho! Okay, that's quite something. So, we've got a new comet. I have to admit, with NEOWISE, I was pretty much ignoring it after Atlas and Swan earlier in the year. Not that Swan ended up turning out that badly, but it wasn't really much of a show for us in the Northern Hemisphere. So I'd been kind of ignoring NEOWISE, just getting on with things. But now it actually seems to have turned out to be something quite impressive. So I want to go out and image it. Hey guys.
And after some admiring the wildlife, I continued on to my spot.
Well, I may have gotten lucky because pretty much the only direction where there aren't clouds on the horizon is in the direction of NEOWISE, although I shouldn't speak too soon because it's not like there aren't clouds in that general area. But I think I might just have a clear shot.
Tonight, I'm just going out with my filming T5i and an assortment of lenses.
Alright, I'm going to take you guys on a little bit of a walk because apparently there is a pond down here where the elk like to drink. However, there are also these things called, I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're black and stuff. They're called bears. And cougars. They do like to hang around these parts too. You think you have it bad with your spiders, Antoine? Be interesting to see whether I see any animals in this footage later, because can't really see a whole lot on this little screen. But yeah, NEOWISE is going to be off in this direction, which at the moment is just crazy overexposed. Actually, to be honest, I'd probably be more scared of spiders that can hide in my luggage and that I can't see than I am of a bear that I can see coming from a mile away. Cougars, not so much. They're pretty sneaky little devils. I see that my north line is still here. Woohoo! No, 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 no.
Comet NEOWISE catalog designation C2020F3 was discovered in March of 2020 by astronomers operating the Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, otherwise known as WISE. At the time of discovery, it was 2 AU or 300 million kilometers away from the Sun. On a near parabolic orbit, with its furthest distance from the Sun being beyond 500 AU, take into consideration that Pluto is an average of 39.5 AU from the Sun. With that orbit, NEOWISE has an orbital period between 4,500 and 6,000 years, with it coming in as close as 0.3 AU from that convecting giant ball of plasma in the middle of our solar system. In a retrograde orbit, NEOWISE approaches the Sun from the south in relation to the ecliptic. At the moment, it's currently swinging around the Sun, peaking above the north side of the ecliptic at what I imagine is a ridiculous velocity. But the benefit of this is it gives us folks in the Northern Hemisphere a brilliant show. Tonight I'm mainly planning to get some wide field shots with my basic Canon 50 to 250mm zoom lens, but it wouldn't be long until I had bigger ideas.
Unfortunately, I forgot my second tripod, so I'm going to have to use my just my phone for documenting my imaging process, but I think I'm going to wait another half an hour for the sun to go down a little more, and then we can give it a shot, as long as these stay over there.
As the night grew darker, I saw a dim object in the setting sunlight. Since it was more or less in the right area that I had figured out the comet would be in Stellarium, I took an exposure and saw a sort of tail. I haven't seen a comet since Hale-Bopp when I was 8 or 9 years old, or not Hale-Bopp. So I wasn't 100% sure what I was looking for. So I started taking exposures, even though it wasn't looking quite right. Then, as I was sitting there, watching it get darker, it was almost like a switch turning on as the levels of light got darker. There it is, a brilliant tail streaking across the sky. What was I shooting on? Well, it was Capella, like a noob. So I quickly reset the camera and began exposures on NEOWISE.
Well, here we are, night 2, and we've got the real gear here tonight. Although, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to use this to image NEOWISE. It's probably going to be too bright, but I don't care. I'm going to do what I want. Yeah, this was a bit of an impromptu night. I didn't really have any plans for tonight. Obviously, I want to try and get NEOWISE, but I have no idea what else I'm going to image. Unfortunately, I have been meaning to get to this week removing the infrared filter from this Canon T4i, which I do have to say, this is a fantastic camera for people getting into astrophotography. You can get these things for, if you're American, probably $200 or something. This cost me, I think, $350 Canadian. Of course, that's like 3 cents USD. But yeah, this is a good little camera, and I'm sure it's going to be even better once I manage to get that IR filter removed. So I think I'm going to do Eagle, because, well, it's Eagle, come on. Pillars of Creation, it's classic. Anyways, I've been wanting to do a bit of a review on the Skywatcher Quattro 200p imaging Newtonian, because I've had it for a while now, so I figured I have a lot of experience, or not a lot of experience, but I have experience with it, so I may actually be able to give a useful review as I be being attacked by mosquitoes, which always tend to come out for about an hour at this time. Oh yeah, like my tribble, I've got a tribble. It's gonna breed all over me.
So with a rough game plan for the night of getting some exposures on NEOWISE and Eagle, I settled down for the night, waiting for the skies to get darker while reflecting on the deeper mysteries of the universe.
Alrighty, so we're just going to, I'm currently pointed at Arcturus, and just popping the old Batnoff mask on. Of course I kind of screwed it up. Why are these all wonky? There we go. Now, let's pop over to the live view. Oh wow, I got lucky with my focus. I just put it at a random spot and it's absolutely perfect. Alrighty, so I've just slewed the telescope over to NEOWISE. I can't actually see it with the naked eye, and I'm pretty sure there's a cloud in front of where it is at the moment. Not a big one, just a little wispy one. But you know what? Let's give her a shot. Let's just do a 2-second exposure. Since it's still pretty bright, we'll do 400 ISO. And engage. Let's see what we get. Probably a cloud. Oh, there it is. Hello. And I'm just realizing right now that I forgot to watch the comet acquisition tutorial that I was planning to. I'm pretty sure I know how to do it. With it selected in CDC, PhD should see that and treat it like guiding for a comet. Speaking of which, let's start this up and engage. Oh! Okay, that's quite something. Gotta love those ultra sensitive astro imaging cameras. I can't wait till I actually have one for the proper imaging part of this. Oh, that's fantastic. Although, I do want to move this a bit. How is this in relation to the field of view here? Okay, I think I'm going to try and adjust this. PhD will automatically figure this stuff out. One can hope. Okay, we're guiding. I'm going off the calibration from last time, but I'm not going to be doing long exposures, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. Alrighty, let's set up a sequence. Not going to get it to automatically do guiding because I did that manually. No slew to target. Dither. Am I supposed to dither for? Yeah, what the hell? I'll dither. Gain 800, dither every second frame. I have no idea what time I should use. Let's do some testing. But if I do a 15-second exposure, will that be totally overexposed? Ooh, yeah, that'll do. I do have a new imaging train on the way coming from Russia. I won't give anything away, but it's a 300mm focal length, and it really would have been perfect for this.
I have to admit, I went into imaging NEOWISE with a more trial and error approach than usual. I remembered a few basic things from what I've read in the past, but was primarily going by trial and error for things like the exposure length. And although the result of the stacked images from this session were interesting, I wasn't exactly happy with how it turned out, being too overexposed in my opinion.
I wanted to show all of you how I start a session, an imaging session in Nina. Now, the great thing about Nina is what I do, because I don't want to have to load the NASA Sky Survey data off of LTE on my data plan. What I do is I frame up my shot in the Nina framing tool beforehand at home, and you can save the file, put it on a USB stick. Speaking of which, I need to get that USB stick. Okay, nothing disconnected. Now, see, I've got my files here, so I'm going to take my Eagle Nebula file. I'm just going to pop it on my desktop. Got so many. But it would sure be nice to have a second monitor for all this stuff. Anyways, we are going to go into my sequence and load up the XML file for the Eagle Nebula. Now what I did is I framed this all up and set it all up beforehand at home. And all I have to do, I need to set the gain because I didn't have the camera connected. Okay, 60, so I've got 60 exposures at 180 seconds. And I have it set to salute a target, do a plate solve, center it, and then automatically start the guiding. And well, basically when I hit this little play button, it should just start everything. I honestly kind of feel like I'm cheating a bit using this compared to APT. It feels so darn easy. The only thing I find frustrating about Nina is the fact that it doesn't give you the DSLR sensor temperatures. Okay, let's hit play and hope the camera doesn't screw up like it does sometimes. Oh, okay, it's doing the plate solve. Now what it's doing is it's going to center the target, and basically it'll repeat the plate solving and correction until it's within certain parameters. Oh, my back's killing me. I feel like I have a kidney stone. But at least I've got the universe above my head. Okay, we are on the first exposure. And my guiding sucks, as per usual. I really gotta do the belt mod for this thing. Well, I've just been kind of relaxing for a little while. The moon's come up, came up around 1:30. So I think it was 1:28 to be exact. It's around 40%, not too bad. It was quite interesting when it was deep red when it was rising.
All in all, it was a pretty productive night getting some data on NEOWISE and Messier 16. After the high-level clouds rolled in around Eagle, I decided to quickly take a look at Jupiter. However, I find that 800mm unbarlowed focal length with a crop sensor combined with the subpar seeing conditions made trying to image Jupiter a little bit pointless, but it's always nice to see, even if it's only as a fuzzy blob of light. I'd really like to put together a planetary imaging train in the future, but I have other priorities at the moment. After all that, I did my flat frames and packed up as the sun's light was just beginning to peek over the horizon.
Well, I wasn't exactly 100% satisfied with the results from the other night, so I wanted to come out and try this again. Plus I want more subs on Eagle because I stacked what I got from Eagle the other night, and it wasn't really, I mean obviously it was better because it had better guiding. I actually had a coma corrector than my last Eagle picture, but didn't really have much more actual data, so I want to get some more tonight. This is focusing on me. I don't know, whatever. Let me get this light up. I'm not really feeling 100% tonight, but I knew I'd be kicking myself in the butt if I didn't go out. Now the weather it's showing high-level clouds until about midnight, and then it's supposed to clear up. I'm just hoping they're not in the direction of Swan, except for the fact that, actually no, it cleared up over there. Oh, that's good. Well, for the most part. because Swan is going to be right there. There? That's where, well, that's where it was the other night. I'm sure it'll be further, because, did I say Swan a second ago? I feel like I was just saying Swan. NEOWISE. Because, interestingly, NEOWISE, actually I'm not sure if this is interesting, I don't know how common it is for comets, but NEOWISE is in a retrograde orbit in relation to the other planets of the solar system, so it would be going that way? Wait.
While I was setting up, I ended up being joined by a small group of people all wanting to take a look at an image NEOWISE. It was a great evening of all of us coming together to witness this unique astronomical event, so I set my rig to start taking 5-second exposures of NEOWISE at 1600 ISO, and everything went pretty smoothly apart from a little mishap I had with a camping knife. Then, afterwards, I got some more subs on the Eagle Nebula and called it a night. Seeing this comet struck a bit of a chord with me, reminding me of being an 8-year-old watching hail bop out of the kitchen window. I remember staring at it for the longest time, and my memory of it is pretty impressive, even though the memory itself has probably had long exposure imagery I've seen since pasted on top of the actual experience, because memory is weird. But seeing NEOWISE streaking across the sky with my Mark I eyeball, those photons traveling that large distance, going through our atmosphere, then through my cornea, focused by the lens and directed onto the photoreceptors of my eye, sending signals to my brain where the stimuli is processed and becomes intertwined with my consciousness and into a memory that will hopefully last until all the fantastic chemical interactions and electrical impulses in this particular bag of water cease, and those raw materials are spread around and reintegrated into the world around us. That's all pretty neat, and in the end I got some images I was pretty happy with both NEOWISE and the Eagle Nebula.